Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from AnthonysCustoms, and for this review I'm very excited to be showing you the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Mortal Kombat NOOB SAIBOT from Storm Collectibles. They sent this to me so I could review it for you guys so you could see it ahead of time. It's actually available right now at the convention, so if you're there you probably want to pick one up, and if you're not you probably want to track one down because it's pretty cool. It's not unlike what we expected because it is basically just a recolor of Scorpion, but there is some uniqueness to it. So we're going to talk about all of that. So let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands roughly 17.5 centimeters, which makes him just about 7 inches, a little bit shy of 7 inches. So again, it's just like all the other Storm figures. It's a little bit bigger than 1/12 scale. Gives him a little bit more room to work on the detail and the accessories. So, you know, that's the way it is. It's not going to fit in perfectly with a 1/12 scale collection, but it's probably close enough that you'll be able to make it work. Most of the 6 or 1/12 scale figures, the 6-inch figures, are a little bit taller anyway, so it's nothing to really worry about if you want to mix and match. But the good news is Storm announced that they're going to be doing Tekken and King of Fighters in addition to Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. So if you want to combine any of those, it looks like you're going to have a perfect opportunity, and I'm very excited about that. Very good news. So this guy thought he was going to be mostly just a repaint of Scorpion, and he is for the most part. He's really just unique in the accessories, but here's the cool thing about this guy. He's not just painted a solid black. I thought he was going to be. It's very cool that they made his arms, any of this bare skin essentially, is actually translucent plastic. And it's not just black, it's got the tiniest hint of purple to it, which is very cool. It's most noticeable if you look inside the mask, underneath the mask on the face. It's just a little bit more obvious that it's kind of got a purplish hue to it, and it's very cool looking in person, especially when you have lights hitting it. It looks very, very nice. And on top of that, it's not just all one black. As you can see on the face mask, it's kind of like gunmetal right there with a little bit of dry brushing, and then the black is still painted in the recessed areas. His eyes are painted black, and then his gi is obviously mostly a flat black, but around the sides, they gave it kind of like a satin finish for the ties and then for the trim. Very, very cool. And for the wrist part, the wrist gauntlet thingy, it's dry brush just like the standard one. Same thing for the hands, and same thing for the shin guards and the knee pads. So it's not just solid flat black. It's got a nice variety of finishing to it. It looks very cool. I am very pleased with it. So as far as accessories go, we do have the interchangeable masks. We have the cloth mask and then the more mechanical looking mask. We do have a bunch of different hands. We have 2 fist hands that come on him in the package, 2 open palm hands, 2 kind of relaxed hands, still kind of gripping, 1 hand that's actually a gripping hand, and then 2 style posed hands. We do have the interchangeable skull head, which does have the hinged jaw, and then we also have Scorpion's straight spear accessory that is included. We also have Scorpion's fire accessory for when he has the skull head and breathes the fire. We have those 2 parts. Still slightly different paint job on this, a little bit more balanced in terms of the shading. And then the last accessory, or 2 accessories, are the exclusive ones, which are the blood effects for having him punch someone's head off, which is a really cool thing that they included. I like that a whole bunch, and they just swap out for the other figure's head. So I like that. I think that's pretty cool. Now, I'm not an expert on Mortal Kombat mythology. I've always been more of a Street Fighter guy, but it's my understanding, I'm pretty sure I'm remembering this correctly, that he showed up in Mortal Kombat 2, and he was just a recolored sprite for Scorpion, so he had all the same moves and stuff, and that is why they have the spear and the fire and the skull. I could be wrong about that. You guys can correct me. Those of you that are more Mortal Kombat than Street Fighter can let me know. But I'm pretty sure that's the case. In which case he probably doesn't need the cloth mask, but it's included because why not? That's my guess. But either way, I'm very happy to have NOOB. Though I'm more familiar with him as, now correct me if I'm wrong again, he's actually Dead Sub-Zero, right? I'm pretty sure that's what it is, and I like Sub-Zero, so that's why I like him. But anyway, it's cool to have this guy, so that's why we have him, that's why we're going to review him. I'm going to run through all the articulation real quick, but you guys have seen it before. Just know that it's definitely more than just a solid black repaint. It actually looks very, very nice. And then, of course, you'll see him in conjunction with the Scorpion figure a little bit more toward the end of the video. So as far as articulation goes, the hood is soft. This part that is around his head is nice and soft, and then the neck piece is a soft extra piece. So you have a big ball peg in there that lets the head move around very well. The neck part of the hood will move around as you need it to, and then of course the top part will flex. So you can pretty much move his head however you want. If you look straight up, there will be a gap, but you can kind of adjust it so that he's looking up a little bit without having a gap. So I think that's pretty cool. And you probably don't need them to look straight up anyway, but you can put them in pretty much any kind of fight pose, and you're not going to have any trouble at all. So I really like the way they did the neck. This piece here is very thin, soft material, so it's going to flex and fold however you need it to, so it won't get in the way of the shoulders, which are on a really big ball peg. And you can see inside here, they have this piece that moves around with them. That just hides the articulation. So that ball peg will give you a really nice butterfly. You can also go up and down. And then for the shoulder itself, you have your standard ball hinge, which goes all the way up, no problem. So if you're raising the arm, this will kind of get in the way because it can only flex so much. But as you want to move the arm around, it's really not going to get in the way at all. It's just going to flex and give, and it's not a problem. So that's very, very cool. The bicep swivel works just fine. Double jointed elbows give you a little bit better than 90. It's not the best range in the world, but it's definitely enough. I think that's just fine. And then for the wrists, we have our ball pegged ball hinge. So it'll move around in the forearm a little bit. And then you also, where's the hinge? Then you also have the hinge on there, which is very cool. And the hands are a very nice soft material, so they can pop on no problem. And I haven't had any issues with the ball hinge coming out of the forearm, so that's a very good thing. This is a separate piece. For those of you that aren't familiar with the original release, the Scorpion or Sub-Zero, just floats around on the wrist and it's very soft, so that's cool. Also forgot to mention that they painted this a nice flat black. This little band right here looks very nice up against the translucent plastic. Also worth noting, the translucent plastic is just translucent enough so that you can see through it some, but you don't see all the guts of the figure. Like, you don't see the pegs for the different joints sticking through, so that's pretty cool. For the torso, we have, I think it's a double ball peg. I haven't taken it apart to check. It could be a single, but it has exceptionally good range. You can lean him back really far just on that upper torso. So that's not moving the waist at all. He leans back very nicely, and you can see the outfit. You're going to have to kind of adjust it, but the outfit moves around with it. So that's very nice. Works very, very well. Then you can also lean him forward. It's going to take a little bit of adjusting so that you don't just get everything bunched up. But you can lean him forward. That's just on the upper torso again. It works very, very nicely. And then the lower torso is just a really big ball peg going from the crotch area. It goes straight up into the lower torso, and then that will move around all the way as well. Now, it does have a lot more stuff going on around it, so it's a little bit more tricky to do. So you can reach in on the sides, and then you can kind of rotate him and pose that lower torso from there, because it's a little bit easier to move it when you're not grabbing this outer part. The outer part is just going to flex with it anyway, so it's really not a problem posing him. As you can see, you can kind of bend him however you want to, and the gi is just going to kind of either float on top or stretch or twist however you need it to, so that's very nice. I like that a whole bunch. And then for the hips, let's see if you can see the hips. Being all black, it's probably going to be a little tough to see. Yeah, I think you can see it okay. So this is the upside down T. So you have one peg going into the torso, then you have two pegs, one on either side, going into the hips. This is just a floating crotch piece in the middle. So you have a big socket here, and then the thigh can actually rotate around that socket. But you can move these hips almost perfectly, like all the way out to the side. Really no issue at all posing this guy. The one thing I love, I mean, I love a lot of things, but the one thing that so far sets the Mortal Kombat figures apart from the Street Fighter, they have so much more range. And it's really just due to the design of the characters. They're able to accommodate the articulation a little bit better, but they have great range. You can pose these guys so well. It's very, very, very nice. I like that a whole bunch. Now, he does have the double jointed knee, which gives him really good range. You can see pretty much a 180. Is it the best looking knee in the world? No, but it's going to be impossible to make it look perfect, and this one definitely looks okay. So I'm definitely fine with that. Looks fine, and you get really good range. And then for the ankles, you have the hinge and then a ball peg at the bottom. So the hinge itself will allow you, it's a little bit stiff, but you can do it, allow you to slide the foot all the way back. So you can get really good range going backward. So that's pretty nice. And then you can do the same thing and get pretty good range going forward as well, so that's good. And then that ball peg is what allows you to offset the foot to accommodate that range, but it does also let you have, not the best, but a decent ankle rocker. So you really won't have too much trouble posing this guy. It works very nicely. And then lastly, you have a toe hinge, which works. And, you know, the toes are all individually sculpted, and they're just, these guys are loaded with detail, loaded with posability, and loaded with fun. So I definitely recommend it 100%. It's not any different than what I said in my Scorpion or Sub-Zero review. They are just fantastic. I love them, and I was worried that this guy, once I saw that he was translucent in some places, I was worried about fragility and breakage, but I haven't experienced any issues at all with him yet, so that's very good to note. All of the joints are nice and tight and work properly, so Really no issues at all with this guy. Very, very pleased. So I have to recommend him 100%. If you're at Comic-Con, pick it up. If you are not at Comic-Con, find somebody who will get it for you or track one down on eBay or do whatever you have to do. Big Bad Toy Store should end up having them in stock, and if they do, I'll post a link on my Facebook page, so make sure you follow me there, and that'll do it, guys. So thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I have new videos up every single day. We talk about action figures, movies, TV shows, video games, all kinds of fun stuff, so make sure you come back for that. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, and in the meantime, keep collecting.